Hello everyone, Spazmataz here, making a quick guide on the Fight Caves minigame in the private server Alotic. Now, as you can see, I am on wave 61 out of 63. I cut a lot of the early waves out because I'm going to give you a verbal explanation of them instead of a visual. So, the Fight Caves is a minigame that takes place in the SAR city, and it is 63 waves of increasingly difficult enemy waves. Free-to-play players or non-members start off on wave 1 and have to fight up to wave 63, which is the JAD, whereas members can choose to skip the majority of those waves and go straight to wave 30. Now, your inventory setup, you want to have at least one buff potion, i.e. an overload, an extreme ranging potion, or a ranging potion. Then you want to have between 8 to 10 Ceridon brews, which will be your primary source of healing while you're in the Fight Caves. After that, you want to fill up the rest of your inventory with super restore potions. The beginning waves 1 to 30, you typically won't need to use any prayer at all. That's when you're going to be doing the majority of your face tanking and when you're going to be using a little bit of your brews. If you do have a lower defense level, I would recommend praying range every now and then, because the Tok Ixal, the level 90 rangers, they can hit up to 200s and they do hit relatively frequently if you have a lower defense level. Other than that, you really don't want to use prayer until level 31, because that's when the Ket Zeks start spawning, which is this guy right here, the magic user. Now, I'm on wave 62, which is the wave right before the JAD. What I'm going to do, what I always do, is I get this guy down to probably about 2 or 3 hits from death, and then I'll go over here to the safe spot to where he can't touch me, and then I'll turn off my auto retaliate. It's something you definitely want to have turned off when the JAD spawns, because you'll run towards him and probably damage yourself a shit ton. After that, you want to take a sip of your buff potion, in this case my overload, heal yourself up to as much health as possible, and then top off your prayer. After you've killed this final enemy, the Tok JAD will spawn, whom is about to spawn right now. I always recommend, when he does spawn, turn on range protect. It's the one that's going to hit the most damage on you. It's also the one that he primarily uses first. There's the JAD right there. So I'm going to run out, I'm going to hit him. See right there, when he smashes his feet down like that, that is his ranged attack. When he bends over like that, that is his magic attack. So as you can see, he just used magic twice in a row. There's range, so you just switch to range. JAD is, to be honest, one of the easiest bosses in the game. The reason people fail so much on him, failed the prey switch there, is because they get hit for a huge hit and then they panic and fuck up the rest of their prayer switches, which is bad. Okay, you don't really want to do that. Okay, that was range right there. You want to keep an eye on JAD at this point, because you want to hit at least all of the rangers at least once, so they aggro on you, so they're not healing the JAD. You really don't want to get within melee range of them, because you can melee for a lot of damage. But after you have, oh shit, whoops. After you, oh well, that got lucky again. After you have them all aggroed on you, you can swap back to JAD. Notice how they are all on me at this point, and then I'm just freely safe to sit here and whittle down the JAD's HP. Now there we go, with him using the ranged again. He's going to keep spamming that range, but at this point, it's a super stupid easy fight. Swap back to mage. There he goes again. After this, this video, or after I finish killing him this time, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get here, your gear setups for free-to-play members and different varying money totals, so you can get a feel of what you're going to want to bring into the Fight Caves, as well as what to expect from this in general. So I believe that was the last hit. Yeah, he should be dead. There we go. Tok JAD defeated. Easy enough. Okay, so when you do defeat the JAD, you get a fire cape, almost 20,000 Tokkul, and an achievement, the Conqueror of JAD. Now, I already briefly explained my inventory setup, so I'm not going to go over that again. However, I am going to show you the different gear setups you're going to want to use. Now, I used pretty much one of the most expensive gear setups that I could afford at the moment, short of a chaotic crossbow and Pernix. But my gear setup consisted of full armadillo, which is the helmet, the chest plate, and the chain skirt. an Amulet of Fury. I brought in 2,000 Dynamo Bolts enchanted. I used 206 of them. I used the Dragonfire Shield for that little bit of extra defense. Pair of Glaven Boots, Barrow's Gloves, a Rune Crossbow, an Accumulator, and an Archer's Ring. If you can't afford all of that, an alternate setup you can use would be to use a pair of Barrow's leg armor, a Black Dragon hide top, a Unholy Book, and then any Barrow's helmet would suffice. You really want to have as much defense over ranged offense as possible, just because there are enemies in the waves prior to Jad that can hit you for a lot of damage, namely the Tok Ixal, the Rangers, and the Yitmej Kot, the level 180 meleeers. The waves aren't really too difficult until you get to the point where you have a Tok Ixal spawning and a Yitmej Kot spawning if you're lower defense, because they will hit you for relatively high, and they do hit for a significant amount of damage. I'm going to go back into the fight caves momentarily so I can show you the different save spots that are at your disposal. So over here we have the Dragon's Mouth save spot. What it is pretty much, if you look on the minimap, it does look like it's kind of in the shape of a dragon's mouth. If you get these enemies, the larger Yitmej Kot, over to around here, and then run back over to here. Oh, well, it looks like the pathing is slightly messed up, so they will run around that. You got to get them to the point where they're running towards you, and then you have to run over to the other side of the dragon's mouth, and they should stop. However, yeah, there we go. They stop right about there, and they can't advance any further, allowing you to hit them and take down their HP without them being able to touch you. Another one of the safe spots that's in this mini game, that's been around since the mini game was created, is called the Boot of Italy. It's right over here. If you look on the mini map, it really is in the shape of a boot. If you walk over here, you aggro them over onto this side, and you run back over to here. Same rules as over here. If you get into the right spot, they will stop and can't move any closer towards you. Doesn't look like the pathing is all too great, so they are able to run past and still aggro you. There we go. The heal part of the save spot usually always works just because of that little skeleton right there, so you can safely, attack them from here. These are the Yitmej Kot. They're level 180. If you examine them, you can see that they have 800 life points. So they're not too strong, but they do hit relatively high. So you want to take them out as long as there isn't a more higher valued target before them. The targets I typically aim for in the waves, depending on what spawns, is if there's a Tizkith, the level 22 bats. They do drain your prayer with every single hit, so you want to try to kill them as soon as possible. Now, wave 31 is when the Ketzek, they start spawning. That's when you want to turn on your Magic Protect and leave it on for the duration of the fight caves, because they can hit for 300s and they do a lot of damage. So you want to keep that Magic Protect on. I usually kill them last and kill all the other enemies first, so I don't have to focus on killing them, so I can turn off my Mage Protect, because while I'm killing them and not taking damage from the Ketzek, I still might be taking damage from all the other creatures, so it really is more prudent to kill those enemies before you focus on the Ketzeks. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave the fight caves after I kill this guy. I just want to give you a brief showing of the different safe spots that are at your disposal. Now I know I didn't talk too much during the Jad fight, but when the different attack animations that he uses, if he bends down his head and you see a fireball forming a little bit of a distance above his neck, that means he's about to use magic prayer. So you just want to click on your Protect for Magic Prayer, and you should, if you time your switches properly, you should be okay. Now if he smashes his feet down on the ground, that means he's about to use range, so you want to switch on your Protect from range. A lot of the cause of people failing the fight caves and the reason why they die is they'll panic. They'll get hit with 600 or 700, they'll instantly swap to their inventory and they'll start healing. They're not on their prayer screen anymore, and then all of a sudden Jad hits them again and they're dead. The key to being able to do Jad properly and being able to survive and beat the fight caves is being able to control your nerves. Jad is honestly one of the easiest fights in the game. You just have to stay calm and keep control of your mind. I'm going to be putting forth quite a few videos on different bosses and different end game things, as well as some video logs of my progression through this server. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching, guys.